What's up, guys? It's your boy Darskin, and today we're going to be talking about something that's pretty interesting. I never even thought this would happen, but apparently Asmon Gold reacted to my Is Tower Fantasy Dying video, and he reacted to it. He gave his critiques and information and things like that, and I don't think he attacked me in any way. I thought he gave some very good information. I think that he gave some very interesting statements as well, and so I wanted to kind of do a follow-up video on that because he did answer some of the statements or questions I had, and he has basically answered some of the things that I was thinking in one way and he's answered in another way and things like that. So if you guys haven't seen that video, you probably want to go see that video so you guys can get context on a lot of the stuff that I'm saying here. And if you guys haven't seen my original video, you can check that video out as well. Now, talking about one of the points that he made, he was saying that the bug fixes in the game and the bugs and the emergency maintenances and updates and things like that, a lot of people weren't quitting because of that. And on one hand, I agree in the sense of, I've seen a lot of people say, oh, well, if we get bug fixes or hot fixes or emergency updates, that just means more, dark crystals. So I'm all for that on one hand. Now, on another hand, it's not so much about the emergency maintenances or bug fixes and things like that. It's the fact that there are a lot of people that can't log into their accounts. There's some people that have lost their accounts. There are people that, log in and are missing items, or, there's hackers that are going into parties and taking items out. So I may not have been as specific with my statement, as far as I'm not only meaning the minimal hot fixes and emergency maintenances. I'm talking about all the problems as a whole, as far as the hacking and just the very big game-breaking bugs of the game. So not necessarily all the minor stuff, which I did go on the minor stuff quite a bit, so understandable why a lot of people thought that. I did mention the mistranslations, and mistranslations aren't that big of a deal on one hand, where it's like, if it's mistranslated, they can fix it, sure. But I feel like it's a very big deal when the mistranslated information is something that people are summoning for, right? Having a piece of the text mistranslated somewhere random and like the story is whatever. But whenever you have characters' dupe system mistranslated to the point where people are summoning for something that does not exist, I think that is a very big problem for the game. Especially when the compensation for that is something very minimal, like 500 dark crystals. One of the biggest things that he brought up that he felt was a problem for the game was transferring servers. The game has been out for how long? I don't even know, what, 3-4 months? And you still cannot transfer servers or switch to whatever server you want to. Now, they did mention that they were working on it, and I believe that was like a month ago. The real question is, why can we not switch servers? They already know this is a very big problem, and you have to understand that a lot of people are playing this game that they have advertised as a multiplayer MMO type of experience. A lot of people are trying to play these games with their friends or streamers that invite people in, because I play with a lot of my viewers and stuff like that. So the fact that you can't transfer servers and play with whoever you want is a very big problem. A lot of people are going to end up quitting the game because of that. He also mentioned something along the lines of, a lot of people are not playing this game anymore because Overwatch came out. Not necessarily Overwatch, but like there's other stuff to do now. Instead of playing Tower Fantasy, I can play Overwatch. I guess New World got a new update. I can go play New World. Genshin got a new update. I can go play Genshin. So it's like Tower Fantasy's not the flavor of the month anymore. I don't really need to play this game when I can just play the better stuff or other stuff out there. And to a big degree, I feel like that's a true statement. I primarily make content on this game, so I guess I'm not looking at this from a normal player standpoint. I'm more looking at this from a, I log on, what can I make a video on today? What can I do today type of mindset. I mentioned that there were content creators still making content on the games, and that, people were still getting views and everything to that degree. But I feel like a lot of the content creators are probably in the same position that I'm in, where it's like, I'm making content on this game because it's really the only game I have to make content on. I'm still getting views, and for me, it's still working, right? It's not dead yet. As far as people's channel goes, I feel like that's kind of the mindset that they have. So whenever you look at it from a player perspective, someone that just, you know, genuinely wants to have fun, and I take a step back, I have to be real with myself, right? You know, my last video, I do, you know, after, because like I rewatched my video, I watched his video, and then I looked at some of my comments, I looked at some of his comments, I talked with some of my friends about it and how they felt about it and things like that. And realistically, I do want to apologize because in that last video I was on, you know, for lack of a better term, copium or hopium, whatever you want to call it, and stepping back and rethinking everything that I said and brought up, I do think the game is dying. Now, I do want to be specific and clarify, I don't think the game is dead, right? A game dying and a game being dead are two different things. And I feel like in my other video, I kind of mashed them together, and that's why there were a couple of statements that, you know, was good on one side but not good on the other. I do think the game is dying, right? We have definitely plunged into a decline. I watched somebody's video, I can't remember, but they were talking about how much money that Tower Fantasy made recently, and it's not making near as much money, especially with 2.0 coming out. You would assume that Tower Fantasy is making more money, or should be making at least the same amount or a little bit more, whatever, but it's not making as much money as it originally was or anything like that, right? Asmongold brought up a Google Trends graph, and you'll notice that Tower Fantasy had a spike, you know, kind of when it released or whatever, and then it kind of just declined and was stagnant at the bottom. And the New World graph is kind of like Tower Fantasy's, but it got an update, it bumped up a little bit, and, you know, it's you know, coasting as well. And then he brought up the Genshin graph, and the Genshin was blowing Tower Fantasy out of the water. Now, I've always said that Genshin looks like a very much more polished game than Tower Fantasy, right? Like, if we're looking at it as far as what it looks like, right, as far as, you know, the animations and things like that, Genshin looks way prettier. I've said that since day one. Now, I've always enjoyed Tower Fantasy for the combat, being able to use whatever you want, weapon you want with your characters. You know, they have raids, they have, you know, later game content. But regardless of how I feel about Tower Fantasy, regardless how I feel about Genshin, numbers are numbers, and numbers tell the truth. You know, facts don't lie. Based off of the statistics, the factual numbers, Tower Fantasy is dying, and if nothing changes, it will die. You know, it sucks that, you know, a game that I enjoy is dying out because of, you know, whatever. There's multiple problems, but that's the truth of the matter. The game is dying, and eventually the game will be dead if, you know, nothing changes. Whether that's in a week or a month or, you know, a year, that just really seems to be what's going to be going on with it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you guys agree with that statement? Do you think that's, you know, false? Or just let me know your guys' thoughts. I'm still going to make content on it until I stop enjoying it, because I do still enjoy the game. I believe Sakifua is coming out next, and I really want to get Sakifua, so I mean, we'll just have to obviously see where we go from there. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video. Be sure to give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, comment down below, tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. With that being said, I will see you guys next time. Peace.